Welcome to NarrativeNook Audiotales, where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
School starts tomorrow. On this day, Arabella didn't go to the office but was dealing with some personal stuff in her bedroom. After a while, her phone lit up. "Sweetie, this is the dorm I set up for you. Do you like it?" Arabella opened the picture and saw a luxurious dormitory with 4 bedrooms, 2 living rooms, and each bedroom with its own bathroom and balcony. She could even see the sea from the balcony. There was also a small kitchen in the dorm, which was fully equipped with a fridge, oven, and other appliances. "This is way too luxurious," Arabella replied. She was going to school, not on vacation. "I know you like to keep a low profile. To avoid drawing attention, I had a new dormitory building built and announced that it was for the outstanding students." Arabella found this amusing. "You really went all out." "Of course, for my precious granddaughter. I even changed the chefs in the cafeteria. I can't wait for you to start school. Come by the principal's office tomorrow. It's been a while since I saw you last. I have your favorite coffee and snacks. Don't forget to come." "Okay," Arabella replied, then received a WhatsApp message from Kelly Piper. "Bella, see you at the medical school tomorrow." Ever since Arabella chose Westerly College, Kelly didn't hesitate to apply for the same one. Rumor had it that she even planned to share a room with her. "See you tomorrow," Arabella replied, telling her that the new dorm was really nice. Bella must take this in case she feels uncomfortable. Louisa picked up a medicine box and stuffed it into her suitcase. But Bella is a doctor herself. Before Kenneth could finish, Louisa interrupted him, saying, "Even doctors can't cure themselves. It's always good to have medicine on hand in case it's needed. I understand the medicine box, but you're packing so much food for Bella, especially fruits, which go bad easily. I heard they have a fridge in the dorm." Upon hearing this, Kenneth's eyes lit up. "Then pack some more. Who would have thought college dorms were so well equipped now, even with a fridge? I heard only the top students get to use it. I'm not sure if Bella can get used to the food in the school cafeteria. Should we send our chef to cook for her?" Kenneth disagreed. "If our chef goes, Bella will be instantly recognized. I heard there's a commercial area in the university town center. The owner of the land is planning to sell it. I can buy it and open a mall, so our daughter can have fun right outside our home." The key point was that she wouldn't need to pay for anything. "Great idea." Louisa immediately agreed. Hearing this, Arabella came downstairs, ready to stop them. Louisa suddenly thought, "I heard freshmen have to participate in a lot of extracurricular activities. Should we call the school and ask them to cancel Bella's activities? If she had to participate in extracurricular activities, their precious daughter would be exhausted. Bella always worked so hard, and now she had to participate in extracurricular activities. Can her body handle it? I'll call the school now, and then we can continue discussing the land purchase." Kenneth was about to take out his phone. "Dad, Mom, no need." Arabella came downstairs and said, "Canceling extracurricular activities at the last minute doesn't look good." "Really?" Indeed, this school had extracurricular activities every year, regardless of the circumstances. They would never be cancelled. "Pulling the plug right before school starts, that's quite a curveball. Maybe we can just let Bella skip it, or we could get her a sick leave," Kenneth proposed. "We could get our family doctor to write her a sick note." "Right. That should work, right?" "Dad, Mom, I'm swamped with work most of the time, so taking part in these extracurricular activities could be a pretty cool thing." She's been wanting to get in on these extracurriculars for a while. But Kenneth and Louisa just can't bear to see their baby girl suffer. It really broke their hearts. "I'm against the idea of buying land to build a mall. You guys better toss that plan." "Bella." Louisa wanted to say more, but then David came back, carrying a big and a small bag. "Bella, these are the skincare products I find most useful. You take them, you'll find them handy." Arabella watched as he emptied the bags. There were over a dozen sunscreens. Who knew David was such a skincare guru? "Also this, I heard girls need shower caps. Oh, and this is a towel for drying hair, and this." David brought out a bunch of stuff, all for girls, like he was showing off his treasures. Louisa couldn't believe her son had thought things through more carefully than she had. She was incredibly touched. David stuffed everything into Arabella's suitcase, gave her head a pat, and said affectionately, "I will visit you whenever I'm free." Hearing this, Arabella immediately retorted, "No need, your face is too conspicuous. I can wear a mask and a hat. I promise no one will recognize me." David finished, gave her head another pat, and then made to leave. Louisa was confused. "Where are you off to now?" "Your sister's starting school tomorrow. Can't you spend more time with her?" "I ordered some stuff for her. It's about to arrive. I'm going to get it." Arabella didn't expect that just going to school would create such a hustle and bustle. "Mom, I don't need to bring so much stuff. I'll have someone deliver all this stuff to your dorm. You don't have to carry anything." Kenneth chimed in, "Take them, just in case. These fruits are all your favorites. I've even brought extra so you can share with roommates, and these snacks are all your favorites. This box is full of school supplies, these two are bedding, and this," Louisa was getting choked up towards the end. "Bella, come home on the weekends to see us." "I know, I will definitely come back often." Arabella could see her reluctance and gave her a hug. "I'll come back when I have free time on weekends." "Good, that's great." Watching secretly from upstairs, Serena was boiling with anger. Her luggage was always packed by Martha. Her parents never helped her pack for school. Even though they verbally asked her if she needed help packing, when she said no, they really just left her alone. It was so infuriating. "Serena, don't get mad. Once you get to college, you'll have plenty of chances to get back at her, right?" Martha stood behind Serena, her eyes gleaming with a scheming light. They couldn't do anything to Arabella at home, but that didn't mean they couldn't elsewhere. Serena bit her lip hard. "Arabella, enjoy your high and mighty act while it lasts." Her Summerfield College wasn't far from Arabella's Westerly College. Alma Collins is going to the same school too. We'll have fun messing with her. At Martha's words, a gleam of delight flashed in Serena's eyes. The thought of what was to come made her giddy with excitement. Come evening, Romeo showed up personally, bringing along a bunch of stuff essential for Arabella's college life. "Romeo, you're so thoughtful, preparing all these things for Arabella. Want to come along with us tomorrow to drop Arabella off at school?" Louisa invited him with warmth. Romeo accepted the invitation instantly, agreeing in his gentle manner. "Has Shirley Macmillan's health improved recently?" Kenneth asked amiably. "She's responsive now. Arabella says her condition will get even better if she continues her medication." "That's wonderful." Louisa hadn't expected her daughter to be so proficient in medicine. It looked like Bella could pursue a career in the medical field along with her brothers. All thanks to Arabella. Romeo was equally astonished. He hadn't expected Arabella to resolve issues that even top-notch doctors couldn't. Suddenly, Romeo recalled the day Grace passed away. Arabella had sobbed, saying there were people in this world she couldn't heal. Every time he thought of the helpless and pitiful little girl, his heart ached uncontrollably. "I can go by myself tomorrow." At this moment, Arabella was seated on the couch, one hand holding a glass of lemonade, the other resting on the armrest, radiating a powerful aura. The little girl who used to cry in sorrow was nowhere to be seen. She had been a professor at Summerfield College for a long time. For her, going to school was just a new life experience. However, all three of them protested. No way. How could they let her go to school alone? Everyone has friends and family accompanying them when they started college. Just then, David walked down the stairs, laden with stuff. "Arabella, take these to school." David had been running up and down multiple times today. This time, he had prepared a bunch of his autographed photos for Arabella. These weren't available on the market. Arabella was left baffled. "You're usually quiet. I'm worried you won't make friends." David placed the autographed photos in her suitcase. "These are my autographed photos. Give them to your classmates. They'll definitely help you build good relationships. If your classmates want to video call or voice chat with me, as long as they're good to you and truly consider you a friend." "Thank you. Why are you being so formal with your own brother?" David pulled out more autographed photos from his pocket. "These are for you." "Me?" Arabella was even more confused. "You've been home for so long, I haven't given you my autograph yet. These are photos of me in your favorite poses. When you miss me, take them out and have a look." Romeo, on the side, was struggling to hold back his nausea. This guy was so narcissistic. Who would miss him? If that were the case, Arabella would probably miss her fiancé. Watching David's antics, Kenneth said helplessly to Romeo, "My son always does such irrelevant things." Indeed, he's not as thoughtful as Romeo, who prepared a heap of essentials for Bella. "I prepared stuff too. Didn't he prepare a bunch of skincare products in the morning? Plus, all those snacks Bella liked." Ignoring him, Kenneth and Louisa continued chatting with Romeo. Arabella said to David, "David, no need to fuss anymore. Come have a drink. I have other things to prepare. I'll drink later." David patted her head gently and hurried upstairs again. The next morning, Arabella woke up and glanced out the window, only to see a line of black cars parked outside. The Collins family's chauffeurs, dressed in uniform, stood respectfully by the cars. They seemed to be there to escort her to college. Wasn't this a little too conspicuous? She was just going to school, not getting married. After freshening up, Arabella came downstairs only to find Kenneth and Louisa dressed formally, directing the servants to move the luggage. All the servants, in uniform, were pushing a suitcase each, moving in an orderly manner outside. It seemed they were also there to send her to school. "Dad, Mom." Before Arabella could stop them, Louisa hurriedly said, "My darling girl, you're up so early. Did the noise in the living room wake you? What's all this?" "You mean Edith and the others? Of course, the whole family will send you off to school. My precious daughter going to college is a grand event. Mom, you really don't have to do this." Arabella didn't want to draw attention. With such a grand show, she was sure to attract a lot of attention on her first day. "We'll all first drop you off at Westerly College, then Serena at Summerfield College." This was Serena's idea. She said since Arabella was the older sister, she should be sent off first. In reality, she was hoping that after dropping Arabella off, Romeo would accompany everyone to drop her off at Summerfield College. If anyone at school saw her with Romeo, rumors were bound to spread. If Arabella got jealous and had a huge fight with Romeo, he'd definitely choose to stay by her side. "Sis, Mom and Dad are just trying to let everyone at school know that we ain't no pushovers. It's their way of showing they care. So don't turn them down, okay?" Arabella could see through her real intention. She was up to no good for sure. Making such a big entrance on the first day of school, was it all to stir up trouble later on? "Dad, Mom, 2 cars will do," Arabella suggested. No sooner had she finished speaking than she realized that the suitcases she had been forbidden to bring the day before were now being hauled out again by the servants, leaving her speechless. "Your dad initially wanted to send you to school in 10 helicopters, planning to land on the school's playground." Louisa knew her daughter disliked being ostentatious, so she didn't agree with this plan, nor did she drive all the luxury cars in the garage, but chose a solid black sedan instead. "Mom, I know you want everyone at school to know I come from a powerful family, but don't worry, even without this kind of display I won't be bullied at school." After Arabella's persuasion, Louisa finally agreed to only drive 6 cars because if there were fewer cars, there wouldn't be enough space for the luggage. Even though the servants were not necessary, family members must accompany her to school. Arabella, though reluctant, eventually agreed. On the way to school, Serena and Martha took 1 car, Kenneth and Louisa took another, Romeo and Arabella rode together, and the remaining 3 cars were all packed with luggage. Romeo held Arabella's hand tightly and said, "I have a house near the school. If the dorm isn't comfortable, you can stay at my place." Arabella looked up when she heard him add, "I also have a branch office there. I'll be working there for a while. It's just a 5-minute drive from your school." "What are you trying to say?" Arabella lifted her head to ask. "I'm not like your brother, I don't have any photos for you to reminisce over. If you miss me, I can appear before you at any moment, so you can see me." Romeo's gaze was filled with gentleness and affection. Arabella suddenly realized, was he competing with David for her affections? Was she imagining things? At the school gate, Arabella wouldn't let him get out of the car saying, "You'll attract too much attention. Are you afraid of me being seen by other students? I'm worried you'll draw too much attention." Romeo laughed heartily, then cupped her face with both hands, kissing her affectionately. Kenneth, who was getting out of the car, accidentally caught sight of this scene and quickly looked away. Young people these days really are different from our generation. Louisa also saw this, but she thought it was quite normal. You wouldn't understand, this is what being lovey-dovey looks like, it's sweet. It shows how much they are in love. Shall we do the same? Kenneth asked with a chuckle, leaning in. Louisa quickly swatted him away, saying, "Scram, you old man." Kenneth. If Romeo kissing Arabella was considered lovey-dovey, why was he called an old man when he wanted to kiss his other half? Keep in touch. In the car, Romeo's voice was full of emotion and charm, and his embrace was filled with intense reluctance and affection. Okay. Arabella got out of the car and walked away without looking back. Romeo watched her independent and confident figure disappear, suddenly feeling she was quite heartless, not even looking back at him. He felt a strange emptiness in his heart. Even though Arabella tried to keep a low profile today, the 6 luxury cars parked at the school gate still attracted a lot of attention. Is she a freshman? Her family looks so rich. The key point is that she looks so classy and beautiful. A bit cold but so cool. Are those her parents next to her? They look familiar. Yeah, I feel like I've seen them somewhere. Kenneth and Louisa, arm in arm with Arabella, entered the school gate. They were surprised at how nice Westerly College's environment was. This was their first time accompanying their daughter to school, and they were very excited. 6 drivers followed behind them, carrying Arabella's luggage. Just as they entered the school gate, some student council members noticed them. Every year, admissions office teachers and student council members stand at the school gate to welcome new students. At this moment, several male students rushed forward. After understanding the situation, they led them on a tour around the school, along the way introducing the directions to the canteen, sports field, and teaching buildings. When they brought Arabella to the dormitory building, they wanted to get her contact information, but seeing Arabella's cool aura and her parents present, they eventually didn't dare to ask. This freshman's aura was too strong. It's making people feel uneasy. It's been a long time since I've seen such a beautiful girl at school. I bet she'll be the most beautiful freshman at Westerly College. Not only is she pretty, but she also aced her exams. Now I even feel like I'm not worthy of pursuing her. At least you're self-aware. The dormitory manager's eyes popped out when she saw Arabella. She instantly remembered the principal's instructions. He'd said a stunningly beautiful girl would be reporting today. One look at her would leave you gobsmacked. No doubt, this was her. Arabella was slowly approaching, not even in the dormitory building yet, and the manager was already rushing out to meet her. "Are you President Barton's granddaughter?" The manager blurted out, then quickly covered her mouth. "Oops, my bad, I wasn't supposed to spill." Barton wanted it kept hush-hush. You're Arabella Collins, right? Hi. Hi, please come in. Are these 2 your parents? Come in too. And you brought bodyguards? Are they helping with the luggage?" Arabella knew men weren't allowed in the girls' dormitory, so she told her driver, "Leave the luggage here." No, let them help you with it. You're so petite, how could you lug these heavy things around?" The dorm manager was all smiles. She put her arm around Arabella's shoulder and said warmly, "Don't worry about a thing, I've got your back during your college life. But there's one thing, mate. The guy's dorm manager gets a pay raise every 3 years. I've been here for 6. Arabella got the hint and nodded, saying, "I'll mention it to my grandfather." "Great, that's fantastic. You're such a good kid. Now go on up and show your parents around the dorm." The dorm manager was positively beaming now. Overhearing their conversation, Kenneth and Louisa were completely bamboozled. What the heck was going on? Arabella was President Barton's granddaughter? Since when? Could it be that Barton had also taken Arabella as his granddaughter, just like Alberto? Although they knew Barton, they didn't have much interaction with him. Their fathers had been the ones who were close. If they wanted Barton to take extra care of Arabella at school, they would have to request it in their fathers' names. But they hadn't even made the call yet when they heard the news. "Arabella, do you know President Barton?" Louisa asked as soon as they got in the elevator. "Yeah, I do. He's good friends with Grandpa Alberto. He's also given me some guidance in medicine. So that was it. My daughter is really popular. Louisa was thrilled. She had no idea their daughter was this amazing. When they reached the top floor, Arabella pushed open the dorm door to find two girls already inside. The two girls were chatting. They looked over at the sound of the door opening and were instantly captivated by Arabella's aura. She was stunning, and her demeanor was just as impressive. They looked at Arabella. Her eyes were beautiful, her skin fair, her figure perfect, and she radiated a powerful aura. "Are you Arabella or Kelly?" Earlier, they had seen the dormitory list and knew there were two more girls. One was the perfect scorer, Arabella, and the other was Kelly. Arabella's eyes softened. "I'm Arabella. You're Arabella? The one who always scores full marks." Joyce Olcott was incredulous and excited. "Are we really sharing a room with the top scorer?" The other girl, Maya Dempsey, was also extremely excited. "You're so awesome. Hats off to you. How did she manage to be both beautiful and academically excellent?" Then Joyce noticed, "You didn't bring any luggage?" "I did." Arabella made her way, and the drivers outside immediately came in carrying her luggage. Seeing the first bodyguard, Joyce mistook him for Arabella's dad and was about to greet him when more bodyguards filed in. The two were flabbergasted by the show of muscle and forgot to bite into their apples. Then a glamorous couple made their appearance. "Hey guys, I'm Bella's dad." "And I'm Bella's mom," Louisa popped up, donning a radiant smile. The two girls were in awe when they saw Arabella's parents, exclaiming how classy they were. No wonder they had such a stunning daughter. They sure looked like they were loaded. "You guys all living together must be fate. Bella, didn't you bring some things to share with your friends?" "It's in suitcase number 9. Beforehand, Louisa labeled each suitcase and sent a list of what was in each one to Arabella's phone. Arabella opened up suitcase number 9 and, in front of everyone, generously said, "Take whatever you guys want." Seeing this, the girls were amazed. These snacks were brands they'd never seen before, and they looked pricey just based on the packaging. And these fruits were several they'd never seen before. They had no idea what they were. Yep, definitely a rich family. Arabella saw that they didn't take anything and thought maybe they were too shy. She casually grabbed a few things and handed them over. "Here, don't be shy. Thanks." The girls didn't expect Arabella to be so gracious when giving things away. They couldn't help but think they were all girls, but the gap was so huge. Her looks and actions were so cool. "This is your dorm?" After touring the dorm, Louisa nodded and smiled, saying, "Not bad, a bit small but well equipped." One of the girls heard this, and her eyes widened. This dorm was already better than anything nationwide. Plus, it was bigger than her own house. But in Louisa's eyes, this dorm was small? How big was their house then? With this thought, the girl was quite amazed. "Bella, go chat and eat with your friends." Louisa went into Bella's room. With the help of the drivers, she personally made the bed and arranged the beddings. The girls could tell Louisa was a rich lady. She probably never had to do these chores at home. "Mom, just leave my luggage there. I'll pack it later." Hearing this, Louisa felt a little reluctant. She stroked Bella's head and said, "If you need something or anything's missing, just call me. Come home whenever you're free on the weekends." "Okay. Take good care of yourself." Louisa suddenly felt very sad and extremely reluctant to leave. The girls hurriedly said, "Auntie, don't worry, we'll take good care of Bella." "Thank you." After Kenneth and Louisa left, the girls felt much more relaxed. They sat down and started chatting with Arabella. "Arabella, your family seems really rich." Arabella replied casually, "I suppose. Your family is so elegant. You're elegant too, and your skin is amazing. How do you manage to ace your studies and keep your skin so smooth? What skincare products do you use?" Before they could finish, the dorm door was pushed open. In came a stunning and confident girl. She saw Arabella and immediately rushed over, giving her a hug and excitedly saying, "I'm so glad we're college roommates." She repeatedly promised President Barton that she would take good care of Arabella. This was how she got this opportunity. "It's too hot." Arabella's tone was somewhat displeased. but her eyes were filled with amusement. Kelly was laughing her head off and turned to the other two girls. "Hi, ladies. I'm Kelly, Arabella's BFF." The two girls were taken aback by another pretty girl joining them, and she was the bestie of the top student. "So, your grades are also top-notch. Hey there, I'm Joyce. Nice to meet you. I'm Maya, we're friends from now on." The four girls were having a blast. Moments later, Arabella's phone rang. "Bella, why are you still not here?" "I'm on pins and needles. You like your dorm, right?" "Pretty good." Arabella didn't expect to snag the top floor room with a killer view. "I'll be there soon. I'll be waiting in the principal's office." President Barton hung up the phone with a chuckle. Arabella saw texts from Romeo and David on her phone. They asked about her new school, her new classmates, and how she was settling in. Arabella snapped a photo of her room and sent it over, adding, "Everything's good. Let's go get some drinks, it's sweltering. The school's got a bunch of cool places around, let's go check them out." Kelly proposed. The two girls were still unpacking, so they had to pass. Kelly dragged Arabella along. "We'll bring some back for you. What do you want?" "No need." The two girls were too shy to accept her kindness. But Kelly was super generous. She didn't care about the chump change. The commercial street near the school just got a makeover. The walls were covered in graffiti, looking pretty hip. After shopping around with Kelly for a bit, they were about to head back when they spotted a familiar figure. Kelly was astonished. Yolanda. How did she have the nerve to show up? Didn't those scandalous videos of hers online make her die of shame? And more importantly, how could the school accept such a misbehaving student? Yolanda obviously noticed them too and immediately stopped in her tracks. Her face was scratched by Mrs. Panther, leaving scars, but she had makeup on, so they weren't visible. Under the sunlight, she scrunched her brows and stepped up to Arabella, resentment in her voice. "My parents are doing life. Are you happy now?" Arabella looked at her coldly. "Not quite. They're still alive after all." Why were they still alive when her grandma was dead? If it wasn't for making them suffer and making them pay, she would have killed them long ago. Yolanda was about to say something, but Kelly stepped forward. "Didn't get enough of a beatdown last time? Want to test my skills again? You'll see. Why would we wait for you? Who do you think you are?" Kelly snapped back without hesitation. Yolanda held back her anger and stormed off. Watching her retreating figure, Kelly couldn't help but tell Arabella, "She's still as annoying. Her parents' way of life has nothing to do with you. They brought it upon themselves. If they hadn't committed crimes, why would the law convict them?" Arabella watched Yolanda's figure and casually said, "I heard she went back to Yvonne, but she can't handle the simple life. Just being a rich girl for a few days, and she can't go back to her old life? Yvonne's too naive. Yolanda's so heartless, and she still treats her like her daughter. Well, she's got nowhere else to go." Being harassed by creditors every day, the school became the only place she could stay. In the car, Romeo was incessantly checking his phone, finally getting the text he'd been waiting for. Just a simple message, "All is well," accompanied by a photo of her dorm room. But the first thing Romeo noticed was her slender figure, reflected on the glass door as she took the photo. She looked stunning. As he was about to reply, there was a knock on the car window. "Romeo," Serena was standing outside the car, smiling sweetly. "It's stuffy in the car. Why don't you come out for some fresh air?" Ignoring her, Romeo went back to his text. Serena knocked on the window again. "You must be bored all alone in the car. No one to chat with. All the drivers are helping my sister move her stuff. Mom and Dad aren't here either. We've got nothing to do, so why not grab a coffee at a nearby cafe and wait? Romeo, are you even listening?" She deliberately pressed her chest against the car window, trying to get Romeo's attention. But he didn't even glance at her, focusing on his phone as if she didn't exist. Feeling embarrassed and frustrated, Serena looked to Martha in the other car for encouragement. "Romeo, I don't mean anything by it. We grew up together. Can't we even have a cup of coffee now? What could I possibly do to you with all these people around?" "I'm engaged," Romeo said coldly without looking up from his phone. "Keep your distance." Upon hearing this, Serena put on a pitiful look. Do you really prefer the icy and rude ones? Before Serena could finish, Romeo shot her a warning look. Romeo. She was telling the truth. Arabella was indeed cold and had a knack for rubbing people the wrong way. She wasn't defaming anyone. I just wanted to invite you for a coffee, but if you'd rather stay in the car, I can join you. Serena said in a soft and wrong tone. Is there a misunderstanding between us? Did my sister say something bad about me? You're too full of yourself. Romeo's gaze turned icy. You're not even worth mentioning. Romeo. In this lifetime, even if you mimic her every word and action, even if you have plastic surgery to look like her, I wouldn't give you a second glance. This was the first time Serena had been humiliated like this. She stood there, embarrassed and ashamed. I despise hypocrites and selfish people, and people who think too highly of themselves, and you are all of them. Serena bit her lip, holding back tears. If you keep pushing, your cushy life as a rich girl will be over. Feeling humiliated, Serena ran back to her car and burst into tears. How could he say that about me? I'm not fake, I'm not selfish, I'm not self-centered. Serena sobbed inconsolably in Martha's arms, feeling wronged. What does Arabella have that I don't? Just because he's a billionaire, does that make him so great? His words were too harsh. Martha consoled her, saying, men like Mr. Macmillan are naturally arrogant. Winning his heart isn't easy. Otherwise, every good-looking girl in the world could be Mrs. Macmillan. Why should it be you? But what's so great about Arabella? She just plays the piano, slacks off at work, and is always cold. Men are drawn to women who are cold and indifferent. It's their desire to conquer. It's not your fault. After Martha's explanation, Serena finally stopped crying and wiped her nose. And you're not smart enough. You should have cried in front of him. That way he would feel awkward and guilty for bullying a girl. But now, dry your tears, listen to me, and try again. Do I have to go again? Serena really didn't want to make a fool of herself again. Romeo's reaction was terrifying. If she went again, he'd probably hit her. You need to be persistent. Show him what makes you special. Martha continued, let him know you truly like him. Not like other girls who are after his wealth and status. After some thought, Serena finally got out of the car. This time, following Martha's advice, she bravely knocked on Romeo's car window and said softly, Romeo, I'm sorry I was wrong. Please don't be mad, just hear me out. Romeo glanced at her, and seeing a glimmer of hope, Serena said with a wrong tone, could you get out of the car while we talk? It's suffocating with you staring at me. She lowered her head, like a child who'd done something wrong, nervously expecting forgiveness. But to Serena's surprise, the next moment, she heard the car door open. Romeo's dress shoes came into view. As his feet hit the ground, it felt like a dream to Serena. She couldn't believe it. She looked slowly up at his incredibly handsome face. Romeo got out of the car. He actually got out of the car. He was standing right in front of her. Martha was right. Men can't stand seeing women in tears, looking helpless. She had purposefully made that face, showing a bit more skin, just to get this reaction. Just as Serena was about to let her joy show and say something, Romeo was already on the move, breezing past her. The whole thing took only 3 seconds. Serena stood there, dumbstruck, as he got into Carl's car, which quickly drove away. It took her a moment to realize that Romeo hadn't gotten out of the car to hear her talk. He saw Carl coming to pick him up, so he got out. From start to finish, all of this had nothing to do with her. Her previous happiness vanished, replaced by embarrassment and shame. In the car, Carl was driving and asking at the same time, Boss, what's up? Weren't you supposed to drop Ms. Bella off at school today? Why the sudden change of plan? Did you have a spat with Ms. Bella? Me argue with her? Romeo sounded exasperated. Arguing was simply not in his nature. He'd rather let Arabella win. What the hell happened? Carl was utterly confused. Just a pesky fly buzzing around my ears, getting on my nerves. A fly? Carl was stumped. It took him a second to associate Serena with the fly. Could the boss be referring to Serena? Poor girl. In the boss's eyes, she was no more than a fly. Once upon a time, she was at least human. Now, she wasn't even that. Romeo took out his phone again, dialed Kenneth, and said there was an urgent matter at the group that he needed to attend to. He would have to hitch a ride with Carl and have dinner with Arabella later. No problem, you do your thing. Romeo was puzzled, not quite catching Kenneth's drift. Arabella is still young, isn't she? Kenneth chuckled on the other end of the phone. Romeo quickly caught on, saying, I'm sorry, uncle. I messed up. Kenneth was taken aback by his response. No, it's not your fault. Mainly because Arabella is too stunning. You did a fantastic job raising her. I'm truly honored to be part of Bella's family. I'll come visit as soon as I've sorted out work. I want to make you guys happy. After hanging up, Kenneth was still shell-shocked. Romeo sure had a way with words. What was his main point again? He left such an impression that Kenneth forgot what he was going to say. Meanwhile, Kelly bought a bunch of stuff to share with her dorm mates and treated them to dinner. Her warmth and cheerfulness quickly won the other two girls over. And because she always included Arabella, the other girls quickly became friends with her as well. That night, Kelly generously shared her extra skincare products with the other two girls. They chatted and laughed in the living room. After taking a shower, Arabella chucked her clothes into the washing machine and then stood on the balcony, listening to the investigation report. Martha and Serena are really mother and daughter. The DNA test shows a 99.99% match. It's like a soap opera. As she was drying her hair, Arabella calmly said, I saw it coming. But it's confusing. How could a maid successfully place her daughter in your parents' care? There are two possibilities. After the health clinic explosion, Martha discovered her daughter had been swapped with the daughter from the Collins family. Seeing your family was well off, she faked her death and worked as a maid in your home, hoping her daughter could lead a better life. The other possibility is that she has a puppet master. She might know who plotted the fire, but this seems less likely and raises a lot of questions. For instance, with her level of intelligence, she's hardly the cunning type to pull strings for someone. There's nothing particularly special about her that would make any puppet master favor her and ensure her survival. Actually, Serena's staying with the Collins family seemed to have no real bearing on the whole plan. It was totally irrelevant. The fact that Serena was taken by mistake was actually a misunderstanding. And Martha just went with the flow. Was it not as complicated as they had initially thought? If we want to get to the bottom of this, we need to start our investigation from scratch. One thing was for sure, Martha was the woman in the same ward as Louisa at the hospital back then. She didn't die in the fire, instead, she managed to keep her head down and survive. So, who's Serena's biological father? Asked Arabella calmly. We're looking into it. I checked Martha's contact records with outsiders over the years and everything seems kosher. There's no man of her age who she's been in frequent contact with. Arabella remembered what Kenneth and Louisa had said earlier. They had people investigate it, and they found out that Serena's biological father had disappeared in the fire, and her biological mother was dead. Over the years, has Martha visited the graveyard, or secretly asked someone to visit it? Arabella continued to inquire. No, she's been working as a nanny at your house and rarely goes out. Is it possible that Serena's biological father changed his name, thinking that his wife and daughter died in the fire, and remarried? Finding him would be a tall order if he had indeed changed his name and moved to a far-off city. Not sure. Without evidence, Arabella couldn't jump to conclusions. She just said, if Serena's biological father knew that his wife and daughter didn't die, and his daughter was living a good life, and his wife came to share this benefit, wouldn't he, as a father, want to share this benefit as well? Given Martha's character, she should have told him about this benefit. Investigate all the male employees the Collins family hired 18 years ago. You mean, Serena's biological father might also be in your house? Could he be a driver or a bodyguard? Her subordinate asked in surprise. This is just a hunch, just check it out and see if anything's been overlooked. Roger that. Once the serious conversation was over, Arabella's subordinate joked, is school fun? How about letting me in to experience life a bit? Your face is too old. Her subordinate was instantly bummed out by her words. I'm only in my early 20s. If I wasn't running around helping you out all day, I wouldn't look this old. The thing was, he didn't think he looked old at all, so why did he seem non-existent in Arabella's eyes? Was it because she saw Romeo's face every day and it raised her aesthetic standards? That must be the reason why she's so hard on him. Enough said. Arabella didn't wait for him to say anything more. After hanging up, she picked up Romeo's call. Bella, who were you chatting with? Romeo had called earlier, but she was busy. He tried again after a while, but still the line was busy. Now he finally got through. You've been talking for a long time, a male friend? Yes, a guy, in his 20s, Arabella asked with a smile. Do you need me to send you his details? So it really was a guy. Romeo had a feeling that she might be on the phone with a guy since he couldn't get through. Okay, send it to me. I promise I won't cause him any trouble. Arabella laughed and asked, Did you need something? I missed you, can't I call you only for that reason? Romeo sounded a bit upset. What did he want? Did he have something important to deal with? What could a 20-something guy possibly have that's so important? Did you guys just meet today? Is he a classmate?
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.